Good morning, young kings. Time for your morning motivation. Just got through doing some interval training. Did just about 4 miles. Well, it was 4 miles. Can't say I ran 4 miles, but interval training. Went to the track, walked a lap, ran a lap, walked a lap, and then just kept doing that for 4 miles. So studies show that interval training is supposed to be more advantageous for weight loss on your body. So the theory behind running is that you can plateau if you just run at a constant pace for a long distance. Your body get adjusted to what you're doing. So if you're going at a steady pace, your body gets accustomed to doing that. But interval training is different. It's like your body's always in a state of shock, meaning that 1 minute you're walking and your body thinks that it's time to cool down, and the next minute you're running, so your body has to catch up and your heart starts to pump a little more, so you keep shocking your body, and it's supposed to be better for your body. So I'll continue to do that. It seems to be working somewhat. I'm still going to get some long distance run in. I might shorten the distance. I doubt I get back up to the double digits. That 10 miles really hurt my hip and my knee, and it took me a few days to recover from that. So I may stay under 10 and just continue my fitness routine. So it's been a minute since I've been on. The frequency of my videos have slowed, and it's intentional. Just been about processing life and this journey that I'm going through, and just actually living it, enjoying it. So the revolution will be televised, but it will be, at a slower pace. And I'll continue to do the videos. I'm not sure how frequent they will be, but they'll still come out. But being authentic, it's like when they come, they come. You're not paying for them anyway. Half y'all don't even watch the whole video, so better be glad they're up there for free. There's a lot of digital pimps that's selling less content and profiting off of false information. And I'm trying to give you the real game for free, so they'll continue to come. So today is about still the steps to become an authentic version of yourself, and realize this is not a sprint. It's a slow pace. It doesn't happen overnight. You didn't become the adaptive self overnight. You became your adaptive self by being placed in conditions and environments that wanted you to assimilate in order to be accepted. And that's been your whole life, from your parents to your friends to the school to your job. Regardless, everybody has tried to place conditions on what they thought you should do. But the reality of it is, and I said I was going to stop saying that, but that's a hard phrase to get over. But the truth of the matter is that you haven't spent a lot of time being an authentic version of you. And you got to give yourself some grace to learn who you are. I realized I just turned 46 Saturday. Happy birthday to me. And I realized, like, year 45 taught me a lot about life. And it was really my transition year. Not saying transition year as though I've arrived, but it was my awakening to be awoke that I needed to make something different in my life. And a lot of those changes was forced on me. It wasn't a path that I chose to do. It was one that I had to embrace as I was in. So for you all that are before your storm, it's time for you to get equipped, because life is going to challenge you. And if you're not into the authentic version of yourself, then you won't know how to respond. You respond the way other people want you to respond. You'll go seeking advice. And there's nothing wrong from getting advice from anyone. I would encourage everyone to get advice. I think there's benefits, and it talks in scripture about receiving wise counsel. I think everyone should go and receive some wise counsel. But the issue is that all the counsel you receive, it's not wisdom. It's not coming from wise sources. So it's hard to receive wise counsel from a fool or someone who doesn't know where you're going in your journey, your destiny in life. So they can give you based off their opinion. And a lot of people, you can tell when they give you that counsel if it's wisdom or not, because they say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. If I were you, I would do this, A, B, and C. And you realize, like, they're placing themselves in your position, so to speak, from an outside external perspective, but they don't have the internal workings of what's going on inside you. All they can see is the outward manifestations of things you communicate, but they don't know, and they're going to try to place you in positions that's comfortable for you. And really, that transition from your adaptive self to your authentic self is an uncomfortable journey. So very few friends or counselors will be able to advise you on how to take the difficult path. You know, a lot of them want you to be comfortable and, hey, I wouldn't put up with that, or I wouldn't do this. But you're going to have to put up with some things. You're going to have to do some things in order to get where you are. Because I'm 46 years old, and a lot of people may see the external workings of my success. They see my house, my car, my boat, my Jeep, and they say, oh man, this guy's successful. But they don't understand this has been 26 years in the making, going on 27. Like, I started this journey October 3rd of 1994. So they see what I have now and say, man, and they all want that. But that 27 years that is in between that, it's what it took to get there. And yes, mine took a long way. Some people are able to do overnight successes and have their instant fame, but that wasn't my journey. My journey was to be elongated. It was over a series of years of struggles, successes, failures, setbacks, disappointments, excitement. It was just like this roller coaster ride. So my journey is 27 years in the making, and you can see the results of it. So a lot of people are like, man, it's time to take it easy. If I were you, I wouldn't be pushing so hard. I wouldn't do this. But that's the same reason they're not me. And I am going to slow down a little bit, but slow to the point of intention, not slow to the point of stopping, and slow to the point of enjoying life and realizing it's not just about the pursuit. For me, I used to chase dreams, chase goals, and there's nothing wrong with that, with chasing dreams and chasing goals, but get to a point where it's not the journey, it becomes the destination. And the reality of it is, I'm gonna keep saying that, I'm not gonna try to stop it, but the journey is just as important as the destination. I think it's more important than the destination. The journey shapes you. It kind of is like your life lesson, you know. And it says, I was reading a quote the other day, and it talked about life in school. And it talked about, you go through school and they give you a lesson, and then they give you a test and see if you learned your lesson. But in life, they give you a test and it teaches you a lesson. So there's a difference between the two, life and school, because in school, it's all about them trying to impart some knowledge into you, some wisdom, and for you to be able to regurgitate some things to measure your intelligence. That's school. It's antiquated. It's not adequate for really preparing you. Like in school, have they taught you about relationships? No one taught you about that. Your parents don't teach you about that. You know, you observe their relationships from an external perspective, but no one really teaches you about that. And then you go and you meet someone, and then you have to learn from scratch what's a healthy relationship. You know, do they teach you about finances? They don't really teach you how to manage your money and to a point where you can be successful. They don't teach you how to write checks. I know people are not writing checks nowadays, but they're not teaching you those essential things in life. You know, they just teach you what they want you to know, enough to keep you in a state of confusion, of of a dependency. And by the time you learn, to be honest with you, and I probably mentioned this in a few videos, by the time I really understood what it took to be a man, I was in my 40s, you know, and just going through trial and error. No one, taught me how to shave. I had to go through experiencing trying bad razor, multi-blade razors, dull razors, and getting bumps and trying different shaving creams. No one taught me that, so it's like starting from scratch. No one taught me how to do a lot of things in life. So when you go to school, it's not preparing you for real life. That's why they teach you a lesson and then they test you at the end. But in life, it gives you that test. And in that test, you can find out a lot about yourself, and then it teach you a lot of lessons in life that you can go through. Credit is important. Credit is very important. I know when I was young, I didn't understand credit being that important, so there would be times that I had financed some things and I got paid and it was time for me to pay my bill. And it was either pay that bill or maybe go out to a club or buy a new outfit. And sadly to say, I chose the latter, to go out and buy an outfit and buy things, and then had bad credit and didn't realize how much credit was going to impact me until I needed something greater later. So you won't realize that investment, how important it is in its infancy stages, until it becomes to a point of need later. I was reading in scripture this morning, Proverbs 19:2, and it says, it's not good for a man to be without knowledge. Like, it does you no good. Like, you need to inform yourself. And if you're waiting for the school system, the education system, regardless of what it is, if it's, elementary, high school, college, master's degree, very rarely are they going to teach you some essentials things that navigate through life, unless you're going into the field of social worker and psychology and stuff of that nature, and then you'll get more of a thorough understanding of some of the inner workings. But outside of those curriculums, this thing called life is your classroom. Life is a big classroom, and it's not good for a man to be without knowledge. So you got to find a way to increase your knowledge. You got to make up for the deficit of what you haven't been receiving from various different sources. You got to make up. And there's this thing called the internet, and it's good for more things than just searching out what's the latest thing to buy, what's the latest fad. There's things on there that could benefit you and help you grow to become better. I see a lot of digital pimps on the internet, and they claim to have the key for life and want to, get you on Patreon pages and have you pay for this, and they've got consultation meetings for you to pay for. You got to realize they may have made it, but then, they're going to sit and profit off you and try to help you. You're going to help them become richer and more empowered to be able to charge people more. Like, the bigger they are, the more they're going to charge you. So it gets to a point in life where you're going to have to start educating yourself. That's why it talks about in scripture, study to show thyself approved. A workman ready to rightfully divide the word. You got to be able to have that spirit of discernment to realize what is for you is for you. But what's for you doesn't mean like it's going to come to you. There's an effort that's required. So it's not good for men to be without knowledge. And then on the second stanza of that 19:2, it says, he who hurries his steps errs. Like, this is not a rush. You can't rush to get all the information required for life, or you can't rush everything. You got to slow down. And that's why I think it's important. Like, this thing, it's a marathon. So with shout out to Nipsey Hussle. It's a marathon. You can't sprint your way through success, especially if you're not an Olympic sprinter or something like that, training to go to the Olympics or playing a sport. There's things, it's going to take you to pace yourself. You're going to have, the ability to slow down, and know how fast you can go. Some topics may take you a little longer. Like, it took me 46 years. And I think this is my year, and it's a happy new year to me, because I think birthday is a real accurate new year. It's not a really new year on January 1st. It may be a partial year unless you were born on January 1st, but your birthday is the introduction to your New Year's. And I'm not going to have these New Year's resolution, but I'm going to have some birthday intentions on things and reflections on things I've been through in life, and help me get to a place of a better understanding. So to make this year even more prosperous and beneficial to me and those that are connected to me. So sometimes you got to slow down, because when you hurry your steps, You know, you can trip, you can fall, and it can cause you more delays. You can get an injury by trying to go faster than what you're ready to go. Like, you got to be in incremental steps. It's not an overnight process. And I keep saying that because everybody now wants microwave success. They want to find a way to accelerate the process. There's no accelerator on this process. You got to be able to go slow. It's like cooking. Like, for those who grill or smoke food, you know, they have a saying that says low and slow is the way to go. Like, when I'm doing ribs or cooking ribs on the grill, I try to keep the temperature around that 225 to 275 marker, because that is the temperature where you can get the optimum smoke and real flavor out of the smoke in the meats. Now, if you want to cook fast, you can cook ribs at 350, 400 degree temperature, and you'll cook it and it'll get done, but it'll be tough. And it'll be hard, and it won't be as flavorful as those who choose to smoke it. But the difference is it'll cook faster. You know, of course it's going to cook faster. It'll even be burnt on the outside and have that people call it bark, but it won't be the flavorful bark. But when you slow it down and you get to that 225 and that 275, yeah, sometimes it takes me 4 and 5 hours to cook some ribs. But I tell you, you can remove your dentures and still enjoy them. So low and slow is the way to go. But if you apply that process even to life, like, sometimes you can't rush through things. You know, I was just reading in a book, and it talked about reading and thinking with understanding. And it said to read things 3 times. You know, first time you read to see what the writer is intending to say, not trying to interpret it, but just try to read it. And then you read it the second time to see if you agree with their perspective, and if has, you know, an element of truth in there, if it's absolute truth, or if it's just true in some situations. And then the third time you read it with a critical eye. Like, do you agree or disagree with this? And that's the level of learning that you need to get to. It's not just being in receive mode and just being able to read something like, oh, this is what they said. And a lot of people have this false information, this false knowledge, where all they're doing is regurgitating something they seen off social media. That's the depth of their studies or their research. Is that, hey, I read this article. No, you read a post on Facebook, on Instagram. You haven't been studied. And that's why they have the shallow understanding of things. And that's why they will only have a shallow version of success. There'll be no depth to it. If you want to, you know, there's a saying like an inch wide or a mile deep, or you can be a mile wide and an inch deep. So that you don't want to be a mile wide and, you know, have this vast understanding of a lot of things. There's some topics that you need to go deeper in and dive down in deep, and just be maybe only an inch wide, but the depth of it, you know, you didn't search that thing throughout. You know, we just went to a restaurant in Battle Creek on the last day of the weekend for my birthday, and a restaurant called Claire's on the River. And the restaurant was, I mean, the pictures on the internet made it look better than what it was, but the menu was just so big. I mean, it was too big. I mean, it had like 3 or 4 pages of things on the menu, and all in small print, almost to a point where it was too much. It was too much. You can't specialize in cooking all that food that good. You need to pare down into what the selection is going to be on your menu in life, and specialize in something. If your specialty is fitness, then get out and really study the fitness, the effects of the body, and, you know, eating and stuff like that. If your expertise is finance, understand that. You know, if your expertise is business, do that. If it's relationships, there's something in life that you're supposed to be going deeper in, and only you know that. And I know there's some areas that I need to go deeper in, and it's going to cost me to make some transitions in life and make some changes. And they're coming. Don't worry, it'll be documented. But when you do that, you're transitioning to the authentic version of yourself. And I realized last year, like, it was only when I became true to myself and started being an authentic version of myself that I was even available to be loved for who I am. And I was thinking about that as I was running, you know, this morning. It says, I've been desiring to be loved for who I am, but I wasn't operating in my authentic self. So I wanted to be loved in my adaptive version. And when you loved in your adaptive version, you would never feel truly loved, because that's not who you truly are. And there would be something in you that's desiring more. And that desiring more is for you to desire to get out of your adaptive self into your authentic version of yourself. So until you become genuinely authentic, you can never be loved for who you are, because you're not even being who you are. You know, how can you expect someone else to love you for who you are when you're not showing them the true version of yourself? And the thing about the true version of yourself, it's in you. It's just down there dormant and it's hitting. So you just got to have the courage, personal courage, and the audacity to bring it out. And when you bring it out, I'll tell you, a lot of fake friends are going to leave. And I say fake friends. I was reading in scripture the other day, Proverbs 18, and it talked about a man of many friends leads him to ruin. Like, if you got a big circle around you, it won't be long before you fall. You don't need a big circle around you. And you realize once you change into the authentic version of yourself, your circle will start shifting. People will start falling away. And it's not a bad thing that they fall away, although it will feel bad at times. It's actually a good thing. And it's not an indictment against them for them falling away. You know, people come in your life for 3 reasons. You know, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. You know, some people are just there for a reason. And maybe their reason is what they can benefit from you. You know, they see that you're gifted at this. They want to be attached and associated with that. So that's the reason they're with you. And some people are just in your life for a season. And those are there to carry you through that particular time in your life. And maybe that was the season of your prosperity. They just wanted to benefit from you being up. And then when you struggle, those same people won't be there no more, because they were just in there for that season. And there's some people that maybe come alongside of you for a season through an adversity. They may be there to encourage you, and you know, that's their job, to help you get through that motion, to that moment. But then after you get through it, their job is, you know, to go out and help somebody else. So they come in here for a reason or a season. And then those are people who are, the last one are the enduring ones. They come in your life for a lifetime. No matter what you've been through, what you go through, these are people that are always going to be there. And when I say always going to be there, no one is going to be there 100% for you, but they're genuinely in your corner and they want the best for you. They don't wish you ill. They wish you to do prosper and be in good health. So you got to be able to understand, you can't change someone and their intentions, because their intentions is their intentions. If they're designed to be there for a reason, don't try to keep them for a season or a lifetime. If they're designed for a season, don't try to figure out the reason or try to convert them into a lifetime. But those who are there for a lifetime, celebrate those, because those are the ones that are rare and few in between. So your homework now is to assess your life and see whose reasons, whose seasons, whose lifetime. And in order for you to do that, you're going to have to slow down, stop running so much. And I'm saying that to myself because my body's really aching from all this wear and tear. But it's essential for my fitness too. I realized this, like, since I've been moving into the authentic version of myself, so many people have come out, they don't like the videos, or a lot of times they won't even like the posts I put on social media. But when they see me out, it's like, man, you living your life, you enjoying it to the fullest. And it's like, people are watching you, because when you become the authentic version of yourself, you give people permission to become the authentic version of themselves. There's so many people that live in dormant, they have dreams that's deep down and that they haven't really tapped into because they're just scared. They don't know what people would think. They're not sure they'll be accepted, you know. And until you start accepting yourself, you won't be accepted by others. I know when I first started these videos, and I still struggle at times. I don't like the way I look on camera. I don't like the way I sound. But I can't change that. I'm still putting them out though. So remember, you know, it's not a race. It's not a overnight success. It's going to take time. Take your time becoming who you are. Because when you truly become who you are, then you allow people to love you for who you are. Be well, young kings.